だこのウニ頭は。なんだこの金髪は。この今日から突っ張りが。
Just look at that hair. Kyou Kara Orewa is the story of two guys who coincidentally transfer to a school at the same time with the intent of reinventing themselves as delinquents. From there, a lifelong friendship is born.
ヒヒ、自分の頭は痛くないウニ頭攻撃。バカ野郎、俺が言ってんだよ!
This OVA series, released from 1993 through 1996, revolves around the two of them getting into fights, making friends, getting into fights, experiencing high school life, and getting into fights. Most of the time it's comedy, which does land pretty well in my opinion. The first of our main duo we're introduced to is Mitsuhashi, the mischievous one that doesn't mind fighting dirty. Describing him as a kind of a jerk with a heart of gold probably isn't too off from who he is. He's no role model, but he never crosses a line that makes it impossible to follow him, with maybe some momentary exceptions. The other of the duo is Ito, the nice guy, a foil of sorts to Mitsuhashi. He's the one who wouldn't hit you in the back of the head in a fight if he had the opportunity. Not that something like this wouldn't happen to him, though. Ito is the guy that will avoid trouble and conflict outside of fights with other delinquents when he can. When the two get told to make their hair look more normal before the school trip to Kyoto by an antagonistic teacher, Ito lets his hair down and doesn't talk back because beating up teachers is something he's obviously not going to do. Mitsuhashi, on the other hand, a wig. In addition to a prank making sure that that teacher doesn't get to go and possibly gets into trouble. The two of them work well off each other and off the supporting cast. The latter of which has one more character definitely worth mentioning, Imai.
さあ、ぺちゃんこにしてやろうか。やっぱ今井だ。最後はきっちり決めてくれる。
The boss delinquent of a rival school and easily my favorite character. What probably gets me the most is his sudden shifts from a deep voice to a high-pitched one.
やはり俺の進むは男の道か。
今の超極悪の明久ですよ。分かってます、今井さん。
明久?
Imai is probably the most consistent source of humor in the series. He's the guy things usually don't work out for. Whether it's his love life, working part-time, or his encounters with other delinquents, which start out well usually but don't end as well. And speaking of fights... The fighting is very grounded when the series wants to take itself more seriously, give or take some shenanigans. Punches and kicks have impact and people look beat up when they get hit. It sort of brought to mind some of the earliest fighting from another show featuring delinquents, Yu Yu Hakusho. That was mine, and probably a lot of other people's, introduction to Japanese delinquency and to pompadour hairstyles like this. Though obviously Yu Yu Hakusho went a much different direction with its action. The fighting here never becomes as much of a focus, and the anime never takes itself too seriously for too long. I would say the show manages to be more focused on comedy at least half the time. Whether or not the source material does the same, I would say it probably does more serious stories, but that's just from skimming. I mean, come on, the manga is over 300 chapters long, ignoring the fact that I'm doing a review of its animated adaptation. Who has the time to read a series that long? Ignore that. And that. Just forget I said anything. The adaptation can stand on its own. What I can say though is that the manga seems to have an actual ending. The high schoolers finish high school. The final OVA was released before the manga was finished, and I wonder if it was made with the intention of actually being the end, or if the anime was cancelled. That would explain why the release schedule went from being months apart to the last 3 being released on the same day. If you were to watch this series without knowing how many episodes there were, you'd likely be caught off guard by it being over all of a sudden. Despite the lack of any proper conclusion, the anime is, overall, a fun ride. Give or take some lines I think might just be the fansubbers taking some liberties, which they definitely do in some lines. Characters are entertaining and provided enough humor to make me wish they had gone on a little longer. The Kyou Kara Ore wa OVA series is worth checking out.